It never ceases to amaze me the arguments that I will hear within the sport for why fighters are being taken advantage of, why they are being exploited. And the great irony of the entire thing is the first human being to ever coin the phrase, fighters are being taken advantage of, fighters are being exploited, is Dana White. The first person to ever come out publicly, change the way combat athletes' contracts work, make sure that management and different funds aren't paid, but the athlete directly is handed a check at the end of each night. He then takes care of the team. That the athlete has the ability to be mobile and move from a contract after a set amount of competitions to go out and test the market or come and renegotiate. The first person to ever do that in the history of combat was Dana, who is the number one person that is blamed. And it seems as though everybody changes the argument for whenever it helps them. That's fine. I think we all do that as human beings, right? You don't select an argument that you're going to argue that's against you. I understand that. But in all fairness, it does seem to be a revolving door as long as it remains a positive for you. They always want to, in MMA, compare themselves to other sports. And I don't know why they don't see the pride in it being its own entity. I don't really know where that comes from, but the comparison to other sports is drastically different in a few very glaring ways that you can't deny. First off, other sports work a lot more often. Baseball players play so damn many games a year, I don't know what it is. I want to say it's like 120, might be more than that. Basketball, also crazy number, 120. Am I close on that? I'm not a big sports guy, but I know it's 3 digits plus. Even the NFL is going to play every single Sunday for 16 weeks. That one I know I do have right. Which is very interesting when you want to talk about pay structure. Fighter is asked to go to work 3 times a year. Some of the top ones go to work twice a year, but they're asked to go 3 times a year. You see a significant difference here. Money before each game every single week. An athlete in fighting wants to go out and retalk money based on what this match is going to be worth, based on the presumptive draw. A number and a reality that you can never know until it's over. It's all a bet. It's all a hypothesis. And there's analytics you can do, and you can even go off of a gut reaction. If you're very good at this sport, you can just trust your gut. But in all fairness, you don't actually know, but you want somebody else to make a guarantee. Nowhere else in the world would that happen. If Shaq has to go onto the field, go onto the court, and he's got to go against James Harden, instead of going to Phil Jackson and asking for more money because that's a harder game that people are looking forward to seeing, Shaq sees that as an opportunity. I want to be tested. I want to go against Harden, just by example. If Brady has to go up against Manning, he sees it as an opportunity. He's excited about it. Let's go play the game. At no point would he walk in and talk to Kraft and say, well, this Manning guy's pretty good. You had me against a couple of bums the last 2 weeks and you paid me X amount. You tell me you're going to pay me the same amount to go against a Manning? But my goodness, he's got a brother. His father, he's a second generation guy. Grew up with his dad in the home. He's a good player. Got to pay me some more money. And that would just never happen. That would be very silly. They happen to compare themselves to these sports when it fits their argument, but they're nothing like these sports. Nothing. Fighters going to pick their own team. This is a major perk. I could never have been in like the NFL or something, and I wake up one day and all of a sudden I'm in Miami. Just want to work that way. I'm a home guy. I was born in West Lynn. I will die in West Lynn. That's a personal choice. But for me, that would have been very tough. What if one day I wake up and all of a sudden I'm in Atlanta because somebody else decided, well, Clayton Hires is living in Portland. How's that going to work? It's a mess. Go to Atlanta, I don't have Clayton. The whole thing's a mess. It's very relevant. And it's very relevant that you get to pick your own team. It's very relevant that everything's set and you don't change it each and every time. Do you think in the NFL, just by example, do you think when Manning goes against Brady, it's not a bigger game with bigger ratings that bring in different revenue? Sure it is. But the whole thing's a chart that looks like that you're going to have some down days too, and you're counting on the good days. You're counting on Brady showing up on the day he's supposed to play Manning. Now I can't go, my shoulder hurts, I'm going to rest this week. Man, they go suit up and they go play. Like they said they were going to do ahead of time. When tickets were sold and posters were made, they were men of their word, and they went out and threw the ball, and whoever the better guy is the better guy. If you don't like the result, I'll see you next season. And I'm going to try again harder, because that's what an athlete does. That's what a competitor does. You're either a competitor or you're not. I've never seen a term more corrupted over my lifetime than fighter. When I was growing up, a fighter is somebody who did what he said he was going to do, when he said he was going to do it, whether he felt like it or not. It wasn't about who's stronger or who's bigger or who's tougher or who's got the more skills. Who is going to get up and try whether they feel like it or not. That's what a fighter was. That term has been corrupted. And ultimately, you're comparing the sports model. You're not understanding that this is the entertainment model. Nowhere should a fighter ever compare themselves to other sports. They should compare themselves to the entertainment industry. There has never been an executive producer in the history of time that allows talent to come in with outside sponsors on their cameras. If I'm the executive producer and I'm taking all the risk and I'm setting this whole thing up and I'm bringing those cameras in, bet your ass I'm taking all the money. That's how it works. That is the business in a nutshell of what entertainment is. You set up the cameras, you bring in a whole bunch of eyeballs, and you get companies to give sponsors, and that's how you recoup. Never in a million years in the entertainment industry could Robert De Niro turn the gun back on Scorsese. And after the fact say, you got to give me X, Y, and Z. This was a blockbuster hit. You won a bunch of Academy Awards. I'm said to be the greatest actor in the world. What in the hell's going on here? Scorsese's going to look at him and go, hey, Bob, let me explain this to you. I guaranteed you 20 mil. You showed up and you read some lines that somebody else wrote. You did a very good job with it. It's why I gave you the part. It's why I gave you the 20 mil. Don't tell me we made 500 million and now you're in on that side because I had the ability to lose it all. Which means if there's an ROI, great job, Bob. And your payoff is next time I make a movie, I'm going to call you again. But when I call you, I'm going to offer you 20 mil again. And I'm still going to try to make 500. And I might not. But that's the business. And anytime you want to trade places with me, trade your damn title. Make yourself the producer. But I'll tell you this right now, Bob. I'll do the job for you in your first movie you make. And I'll do it for 20 mil. That is the number one way to do business. I swear to goodness, you'll never read about this in a textbook and you'll never get this deal done. But if you're ever partners with somebody and you ever suggest a deal to them, be ready to switch seats. If you're the one that says the deal, then they get to take it first. You want to buy a partner out. I'll give you $500,000. I'm buying you out. You're out of the business. Partner gets to turn the gun back on you and says, deal, except we're flipping it. I'm writing you a check for $500 and you're gone. Pack your stuff. That's how you know the deal's a good deal. Right? Parents will do this with children. There's a piece of cake. The kids are going to split it. One kid cuts it, but the other kid gets to choose first which piece he gets. The motivation would be that you're going to cut it right down the middle because you know brother or sister is going to go for the bigger piece, same as you would do to them. So you want to make it real fair. It's a very interesting thing. I'm literally hearing guys come out and argue that they're not getting enough money. Guys, a promoter's license will be issued by any commission in the state if you fill out a 2-page form, put down $100, and sign the bottom of the second form. Don't forget to date the top of the first page. Those are the barriers to entry. I'm the promoter. I offer you $1 million. Make the number simple. I offer you $1 million. You don't like it? Okay, great. You become the promoter. I'll fight for you for $1 million. That's how I'm showing you that this is fair. If you don't like it, change seats with me.